The online world erupted in outrage over her choice of beliefs. Rachel Zegler has been labeled a walking PR disaster. She is an American actress and singer of Colombian and Polish descent. "I'm a narcissist," she once declared. Before hearing her speak, sing, or even breathe, the public only knew her through pictures, and they were furious. The backlash wasn't just criticism. Many openly called her unattractive. They didn't just want her gone. They demanded it. Rachel Zegler stands as a prime example of why no one should ever consider themselves bigger than the project they're part of. She has officially crossed the line, and this time, there's no turning back. After weeks of backstage chaos, emotional breakdowns, and viral tantrums, the Evita cast has reportedly reached their breaking point. Instead of tiptoeing around the drama, they finally voiced what everyone's been thinking. We refuse to work with her. You heard that right. The so-called partner in crime, one of the most entitled voices on set, who demanded, "I deserve to be paid for every hour it's streamed online." Toxic. Toxic. "I'm a narcissist." Man-hating, with lines like, "She's not going to be saved by the prince." Downright nasty. Her own words, the kind of attitude that pushed everyone away and made them want to escape this disaster. Well played. Now, multiple insiders are spilling tea from inside the theater, and it's even worse than anyone imagined. Cast members allegedly banded together, stormed into a closed-door meeting, and told producers point blank, "It's her or us." This isn't diva behavior anymore. It's full-on rebellion. And while Rachel's team scrambles to spin the narrative, the truth is already slipping out. Secret rehearsals without her, replacements being trained, entire scenes rewritten on the fly, all because one lead actress couldn't keep it together. Rachel, what's it like to be in a movie with Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu? Great. Okay, it's fate. I'm honored. I don't know why I sound so angry right now. I'm honored. Am I a psychopath? No. I've been getting a lot of questions like, how do I feel? I feel amazing. We start kind of soon, and I'm just like, this was supposed to be her big theater comeback. Instead, it's turning into a full-blown career meltdown. And what happens next might be the most brutal twist yet. Because when your entire cast turns against you, no script can save you. Tonight is the real beginning of my life as a young lady of America. When Rachel Zegler was first cast as Eva Peron, it was hailed as a career-defining moment. A chance to silence her critics, a bold leap from Disney princess to Broadway royalty. And for a brief moment, it almost worked. Well, Rachel was desperate to play Peron. It was actually her idea. We saw an audition tape, and she was absolutely sensational. She worked closely with our musical supervisor in New York on the material. Her versions of the songs were terrific. The producers rolled out the red carpet. Social media exploded. Headlines praised her vocal range and fearless presence. Theater blogs called her casting inspired, refreshing, and the modern rebirth of Evita. Rachel, of course, wasted no time soaking in the hype, tweeting cryptic lyrics, sharing dramatic selfies from rehearsals, and reminding everyone this was the role she was born to play. But then, reality hit, and fast. Why is she starring in the West End version of Evita? I don't understand. It's what I'd say if I had no taste. Rachel Zegler, oh my god. When are you all going to see what a powerhouse she is? I love Rachel Zegler so much. Just wanted to let you know I'll be front and center to watch this icon slay Evita. Oh my god, I can't wait. I'm seeing it on opening night. I already know it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see this diva in action. Oh my god. Whispers began surfacing from behind the curtain. Rehearsals weren't going smoothly. Rachel was showing up late, clashing with vocal coaches, rewriting choreography, and allegedly insisting that Evita needed to feel more like a revolution and less like a musical. Some called it bold, others delusional. I can't believe it. I had no interest in seeing Rachel Zegler in any movies before this, but watching this made me forget how much I really don't like her as an actress. All is forgiven with the Snow White controversy. Maybe I'm actually going to show up for this. I thought she was fantastic. She was really funny. The honeymoon didn't just end, it went up in flames. Co-stars began noticing a shift in her energy. What started as passion quickly turned controlling. Rumors say she argued with the choreographer over stage blocking, dismissed notes from the vocal director, and at one point stormed out mid-session yelling, "You can't tell me how to play Eva. I am Eva." It became clear this wasn't the dream role anymore. It was a ticking time bomb. With every rehearsal, the fuse burned shorter. But the cast wasn't just standing by, watching the chaos unfold. They were preparing to fight back. And what they did next would turn this entire production upside down. Like, I'll be the first to admit, when I saw her interviews, I hated her. I was like, ew, how snide, how condescending. But then I thought, wait, maybe she's playing it up. Maybe they told her to act that way. You can't seriously believe this young woman was cast in such an iconic role and went, thanks, I hate it. No, let's use our brains. We've been pushing the whole girl boss narrative, strong women, strong, 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 for years. Then she gives us exactly that, and we tear her down for it? I don't know. That just feels so goddamn mean. It started with eye rolls, quiet side comments, whispers in the wings. But by week 3, the atmosphere inside Evita rehearsals had shifted from tense to unbearable. Multiple cast members, some with years of professional stage experience, allegedly began calling Rachel Hurricane Zegler behind her back. Every day brought something new. Another outburst, a tantrum, or a creative disagreement, which really meant screaming matches, ignored directions, and Rachel treating every rehearsal like her own personal revolution. And it wasn't just the cast feeling the strain. There's so much ground I never thought I'd have to cover. Some people say I'm doing it poorly. Others think I'm doing it gracefully, and honestly, I don't think I'm doing it at all. So when I say it's hard, I mean being inside my own brain is hard. Stagehands reportedly began rotating shifts just to avoid being in the building when Rachel was present. One assistant choreographer allegedly described her as the most exhausting performer I've ever worked with. Even the wardrobe team wasn't spared. One insider claimed Rachel demanded her costume be redesigned 5 times, insisting it didn't align with her personal vision of Evita's feminist power arc. But the worst part? Everyone was walking on eggshells. Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online. People were terrified to correct her, terrified to speak up. One wrong note, one slight challenge, and you'd get the infamous passive-aggressive glare mid-rehearsal. Or worse, she'd allegedly call you out in front of the entire cast and crew. According to a Backstage source, Rachel turned every run-through into a battleground. It wasn't about Eva anymore. It was about Rachel. Her voice, her ego, her spotlight. And that's when the shift began. I'm so sorry. Rachel, can you sign a few autographs for us? Rachel, please. Stagehands reportedly began rotating shifts just to avoid being in the building when Rachel was around. One assistant choreographer allegedly described her as the most exhausting performer I've ever worked with. Even the wardrobe department wasn't spared. One insider claimed Rachel demanded her costume be redesigned 5 separate times, insisting it didn't align with her vision of Evita's feminist power arc. But the worst part? Everyone was walking on eggshells. Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online. People were afraid to correct her, afraid to speak up. One wrong move could get you a passive-aggressive glare mid-rehearsal, or worse, a loud public call-out from Rachel herself. According to one Backstage source, she turned every run-through into a battlefield. It stopped being about Eva and started being about Rachel, her voice, her ego, her spotlight, and that's when things began to shift. I'm so sorry. Rachel, you got time? You got sign a few autographs for us? Rachel? Please. Just on your way out? A few cast members began taking notes, not just mental ones, actual written logs detailing every outburst, every meltdown, every time Rachel refused direction. Some even began discreetly recording snippets of rehearsals, just in case things took a turn. Spoiler, they did. The breaking point came during a full cast staging of A New Argentina. Rachel, reportedly frustrated with a last-minute blocking change, allegedly stopped mid-song, threw her hands in the air, and shouted, "I'm not doing this circus anymore." Then she stormed off the stage. Silence. Until someone in the ensemble finally said what everyone else had been thinking all along. She's got to go. That was the moment. The cast, tired, fed up, and officially over it, decided to act. If the production team wasn't going to step in, they would. What happened next flipped the entire show inside out. There were no fireworks, no screaming, no threats, just a cold, calculated decision, and a unified front the producers never saw coming. The cast had had enough. After the New Argentina breakdown, whispers turned into action. A small group, comprising lead ensemble members, supporting actors, and even a longtime vocal coach, allegedly requested a private meeting with the director. When that request was denied, they went over his head. According to one insider, a written complaint was drafted and signed by nearly half the cast. It detailed Rachel's behavior in brutal clarity, listing specific dates, incidents, and direct quotes. One line reportedly read, "Rehearsals have become unsafe, unproductive, and entirely centered around one person's emotional instability." But the letter wasn't the bombshell. What came next was. At this point, you could transition into Option A, continue fictional drama tone for your video. What came next was a wave of internal pressure that producers could no longer ignore. Rumors swirled that replacements were being considered, and rehearsals were quietly restructured to minimize her presence. Option B, pivot to real-world disclaimer for factual grounding. However, it's important to clarify, while speculation has run rampant, fueled by social media chatter and alleged leaks, there's no confirmed evidence that Rachel Zegler was ever officially removed from the production or that a cast-wide mutiny occurred. As of now, these remain unverified claims without corroboration from credible sources, shaped to match a documentary-style narration with clarity, balance, and credibility. What actually happened? Rachel Zegler found herself at the center of controversy, not for her performance, but for her public statements. A Free Palestine post and critical remarks about the original 1937 Snow White film sparked widespread backlash. Tensions escalated further during the film's promotional campaign, particularly in light of co-star Gal Gadot's publicly known pro-Israel stance. In response, Disney reportedly hired a social media consultant to guide Zegler's online presence and arranged for the two actresses to participate in separate press appearances. An unusual but telling move. Despite the drama, Zegler fulfilled her contractual obligations. She appeared at premieres, completed promotional duties, and, contrary to swirling rumors, was not fired from the project. Her representatives have confirmed this directly. The broader context. The Snow White remake was troubled long before it hit theaters. From backlash over casting choices to criticism of the updated portrayal of the Seven Dwarfs, the film was caught in the crosshairs of online culture wars and fan outrage. While Zegler's public comments certainly added fuel to the fire, pointing to her as the sole reason for the film's struggles would be reductive. The truth is more complex. A combination of creative decisions, corporate strategy, and cultural shifts all played a role in the movie's underwhelming performance at the box office. In summary, yes, Snow White faced controversy. Yes, Rachel Zegler's role in the discourse was significant. But claims of a cast mutiny or her removal from the film are unsubstantiated and have been repeatedly denied by credible sources. The real story is a blend of media frenzy, conflicting narratives, and a film that couldn't escape its own shadow. Rachel Zegler and the Evita revival, what we know so far. Rachel Zegler's casting in the upcoming West End revival of Evita has been both a celebrated move and a source of controversy. Official announcements confirmed her in the lead role of Eva Peron, fueling anticipation for the highly anticipated production. However, recent unverified reports suggest that tensions may be brewing behind the curtain. Rehearsals for Evita, directed by the acclaimed Jamie Lloyd, began in May 2025. The production is set to premiere at the iconic London Palladium, with previews starting June 14th and an official opening night scheduled for July 1st. The cast features Diego Andres Rodriguez as Che and James Olivas as Juan Perón. But despite the strong creative team and cast, behind-the-scenes chatter has started to overshadow the production. Social media discussions and unnamed sources have alleged that Zegler's conduct during rehearsals has caused friction with other cast and crew members. Some claims go further, suggesting she has missed rehearsals and may even have been temporarily replaced by an understudy. These claims, however, remain unverified and have not been addressed by the production team or Zegler's representatives. The speculation has fueled widespread online discourse, not just about the future of this production, but about the trajectory of Zegler's career. While no official changes to the cast or schedule have been announced, the situation continues to unfold under intense public scrutiny. As always, it's important to distinguish between rumor and fact. For now, the spotlight remains on the stage and the story behind it.